Many years ago, I'd say roughly 15 years ago, I'd have to look at my journal for the exact date, but I don't want to. I'd have to page through it and it'd take a while. So it's roughly 15 years ago. Something happened to me, a miracle occurred, which I've told to very few people. And the reason why is because it's very personal and frankly a little embarrassing. I won't get into it now because that's essentially why I never told anyone is it was a little bit embarrassing on one hand. It was also for personally kind of sacred, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I'm going to tell it today, but I'm going to leave out some of the details which are irrelevant. Okay, so what was going on is I was dealing with a personal issue which I had been praying on daily for years and years, and still lacking clarity in this area. And one day I'm up on the mountainside, during a storm. I could see a major dust storm coming. There was thunder and lightning. The winds, I don't know what they were. They were 50 to 70 miles an hour. It was a big storm, and the rain was coming down in a torrent, and the lightning, the thunder, and I was having it almost mirrored my personal crisis that I was having internally, which with this spiritual issue and this issue that I'd been praying about all these years, and I was frustrated and I was yelling at the storm. I was like raging at the storm, demanding, really I was praying to God. I was demanding clarity. I was frustrated. I was begging for clarity. And it came to me that the story of Gideon and the fleece. In the story in the Bible, Gideon was in a kind of a similar situation in the sense that he was at a crisis moment in his life. He was basically told by God, go and fight, I believe it was the Midianites. And there was like 500,000 of them, and he was hiding in the wine cellar. He's like, it's just me, and this is the smallest of all tribes of Israel, and you want me to go fight the Midianites? That's crazy. He didn't want to do it, and God says, "Mighty warrior, go do it." And so Gideon says, "Oh, I don't think so. No way." He's terrified. It was like so he says, "All right, I'll put down a fleece, and if the fleece in the morning, if there's dew everywhere, but the fleece is dry, then I'll know that this is really what you want me to do for clarity." So he does that, and sure enough, that was the case. It was confirmed, but he still didn't believe. And so he said, "All right, well, this time the fleece." The next day he says, "All right, I'll do it, but only if there's dew on the fleece, but everything else is dry." So he reverses it, and that's exactly what happened. So it's double confirmed. So now Gideon has clarity, and he goes, and there's really a miracle that occurs where he goes and fights the enemy, this vast enemy, and God performs a miracle, which I'll talk about that on another occasion. But so anyway, that story came to me as I'm on this mountainside, raging at the storm and begging for clarity. And so I thought, all right, I'm going to put down a fleece too, just like. And I said, God, show me a fleece, because I had if this is what you want me to do, give me a fleece. And I don't know exactly what I meant by that. I didn't mean exactly. I was just referring to the story. I wasn't too specific about exactly what I meant by a fleece, but I said, show me a fleece and then I'll know I have clarity. I need clarity on this issue. And so I hike up the mountain. The storm just got worse and worse, and I'm up on top of this mountain on a cliff, and the wind was coming up the hill like this, and it was converging with the wind coming in like this. It was blowing, so I could actually lean forward. I could lean into the wind like this, and it would still hold me up. And it just got worse and worse, and there was minor flash flooding on the way down. I'm talking little more like rivulets. It wasn't anything like a flash flood, but it was, it was wild. I'm telling you, this was it was one of the most wild storms I've been in, with everything going on. And I'm hiking down the mountain, and I was just beyond the place where I had been raging at the storm. Lightning and thunder was going on all over. It was crazy. And I'm down there, and I'm coming around this corner on the trail. And all of a sudden, now it's steep. There's on both sides of the trail, it's steep, right? The trail's in the middle there. So very steep, probably like that. All of a sudden, a sheep comes bounding up this slope, like just incredible. It was totally a surreal experience for me. I was stunned. I was literally stunned, because I've hiked on this mountain thousands of times. There's no sheep in this area within many, many miles. Probably the closest I've ever seen any sheep would be 20 miles away. And this is, over decades. There simply are no sheep anywhere near this area. And all of a sudden, right after I pray for a fleece, here comes this sheep bounding up. And I mean, this sheep was like unbelievable, the power of this sheep, the way it was. I mean, it seemed to me that the sheep was terrified by all the lightning and thunder. So it was really animated. It was leaping up. It crosses a trail, and it went up this slope, which was like this. It was just, an open slope there where the dirt was there. And it wound up, just literally, it happened in probably 5 to 7 seconds, where the sheep just boom, 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 and it was gone up over the slope. And I ran up, I climbed up over that slope. I wanted to see it, and it was gone. There was beyond that next lip, there was I could see it was stormy, but I could still see. There was no fog or clouds. I could still see as far as, I don't know, 100 yards at least. And there was no sign of the sheep. It's almost like it disappeared. And the storm was going on, and I could not believe what had just happened. And the whole thing was so supernatural because of the flashing lightning and the thunder, and the wind was coming in, and the rain was pouring down like a shower. And I don't know what to say. This was the most incredible thing I think that had ever happened to me. And anyway, put your thoughts in the. If anyone's watching this, put your thoughts down. Do you think this was just coincidence, or do you think the fact that I just prayed for sheep, I prayed for a fleece, throwing down a fleece like Gideon, was that just coincidence, or was that indeed a miracle? Because the sheep it was not like a sheep of light. This was it looked to me like a totally 100% real flesh and blood sheep. And then it disappeared somehow. So anyway, that's my story. Thanks for watching.